I came to work in Bangladesh in the late 80s, and I work at the ICDDRB with malnourished children in the nutrition rehabilitation lab. And at that time, I looked at the children who were malnourished and thought about what kinds of foods these children should be eating in order to be well nourished and in order to be healthy. And it intrigued me that in Bangladesh the diet was made up of rice, of vegetables, and fish. And it was quite intriguing that in the Bangla proverb, Mashe Bate Bengali, that fish came before rice. So I thought to myself, well, perhaps fish is very important in the diet. And then working with fish and using my scientific background, I took some of the small fish from Bangladesh and I took them to the lab in Denmark and analyzed them for nutrients and realized that some of the small fish species like mola, della, chanda, also puti, kaski, that they contain high amounts of micronutrients, vitamins and minerals, and some also contain high amounts of essential fatty acids. And these multiple nutrients are extremely important for growth and development in children and also for brain development. So this is where my interest started. And the reason why small fish are more important with respect to micronutrient concentrations than large fish depend on the kinds of feed that small fish eat. They eat the zooplanktons and the microplanktons from the pond. They eat the natural foods from which they derive the micronutrients. However, most importantly is that small fish, you eat the whole fish. So you eat the eyes, you eat the organs, you eat the bones. And by eating the whole fish, you receive a lot of micronutrients from the fish that you eat. Whereas if you would eat a big fish, you're only eating the muscle. And that does not contain as much nutrients as the whole fish. Well, most of the work that I did, for which I received the prize on food and nutrition, came from the work I did in Bangladesh. And what was really good is that in Bangladesh I was able to work with the holistic food systems approach. So not only did I look at consumption in children and in women, but I also look at the supply chains and also at the production. But there are advantages in the production system, in the food systems you can take advantage of. If you would take marine small fish at certain times of the year, the marine small fish are plentiful. If you would take the fish from the wetlands at certain times of the year, the small fish, like the puti from the wetlands, are extremely plentiful and they are not that expensive. So if in the season of plenty, you can use the fish from the wetlands, from the marine sources, and then you dry these fish. They can stay as a dried product for about a year. And then you can use these dried fish for making, for example, fish powder, which you can then add to the meals and to the kitchery, to the complementary foods of young children. You can take the dried small fish and chop it up and make a chutney for women with chili and onion and garlic and spices. And then you will be having convenient products that you can add to the meals of women and young children. One of the problems is, even though fish is an important food in the diets, the poor and young children are not eating sufficient quantities in order to meet their nutritional needs and to get full benefit of this superfood. Well, not only molar, there are many of the small fish are superfoods, and in today's world also, there are many who are looking at seaweed as a superfood. So many of the aquatic foods, foods from water, that are low trophic foods, meaning you do not have to feed them. They eat the foods that are readily available, so they are not expensive to produce. Then these foods can be made into products that are easily available, and at the same time, because they have these rich nutrient composition, then they are superfoods. So they are special for small fish species, not just molar, but for many other small fish species. So if we look at the production systems, one of the ways that we can overcome some of the issues with respect to getting more fish within the systems, within the food systems, is by growing fish in pond polyculture. So Bangladesh has over 4 million household ponds, and if we would grow, if we would produce large fish, for example mixed carp species, together with small fish in the ponds, then we can also have the large fish for sale, some of the small fish for sale, but also we can harvest some of the small fish and have them to be cooked in the households for food for the household members. And if you would focus the small fish in the meals of women and young children, then we will get additional benefits in terms of health and nutrition and in terms of cognitive development. So, and we began these production systems, pond polyculture in Bangladesh, but we have taken it to many other countries. We are doing pond polyculture not only in Bangladesh, but in the Terai in Nepal, in West Bengal, in Odisha, in Assam, in Myanmar, in Cambodia, and we have also piloted some projects in Malawi and Zambia. Well, I do see improvements. I mean, just look at where Bangladesh is today and where it was, you know, in the past. The population of Bangladesh is growing, and yet you are able to produce rice to feed the whole population. So this is an enormous success for Bangladesh. However, if we want not just to feed people, to fill their stomachs, but also want them to be healthy and well nourished, we have to think about diverse foods in the diet, not just rice, but rice, dal, vegetables, fruit, and of course fish, which is so very important. We have to ensure that we take care of all water bodies, the inland water bodies, as well as the marine waters, the coast and the marine. And people now, as you heard me talk about the poor and vulnerable, we have to make sure that whatever development we do is socially responsible and is built on the principle of leaving no one behind. So whatever actions we put in place, they must also meet the needs of the poor and vulnerable.